Hello YouTube, this is Redhead Takes back again with another long form video, first one in a couple weeks. But today, again, we're doing went over my picks for week 7. Last week was okay, 9-7 I believe, but could be better after the week that was before. A lot of toss-ups, some big teams I'm biased this week, but let's get into the video. As always, subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz. I hate to say it, but it really does help if you like my videos. If you genuinely do. You don't have to like it. You don't have to lie. But I do appreciate the likes. First off, we have the Saints versus the Cardinals. In a game that's a toss-up in every regard. Both teams are struggling. Both teams can never stay consistent. The Saints have been dealing with a lot of injuries, so that's excusable. First game back for DeAndre Hopkins this year, so may take a little for him to work in, but everybody's probably going to say, oh, Kyler Murray's going to be good now because DeAndre Hopkins probably be better, but not too much better. I just think Kyler Murray's not a great quarterback. He's just too inconsistent. Yes, he has his legs, but that's about it, to be honest. So that should probably level the field a little bit. Saints probably have Olave, and who knows if Michael Thomas plays. Might be a short week for him to come back to, but he will be back eventually. Just maybe not this week. I don't know. Pick the Cardinals maybe because on the road, but Saints still have a great defense. And the Cardinals have a somewhat decent defense, but not too good. I'll go with the Cardinals, but I don't feel good about it. Not been good at picking Thursday games this week. There shouldn't really be Thursday games, to be honest. In the next game, we have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, Falcons have been surprising this year. I still don't think they're a very great team, but they've been playing well. They probably beat an overrated San Francisco 49ers team last week. The Bengals have been very two-faced this year. Not sure how to feel about them. Their offense started to look really good last week, but their defense is still leaving a bit to be desired, and their blocking is still not what it probably should be. Should have thought to been coming into the season. I'm going to pick the Bengals just because they have more firepower. And it's in Cincinnati, so I think that might give them the edge. But honestly, like all games, parity reigns in the NFL, and it could go either way. Bengals, I think, win in a close one, but like I said, it could go either way. Next, we have the Detroit Lions versus the Dallas Cowboys. In a game that Detroit's coming off a bye, the Cowboys coming off a loss against Philly, or Dallas fans are hoping that what they showed last week was an aberration, and they played a really good team in Philly, and Philly showed that they are the better of the two. Yes, it was only won by a couple field goals, but honestly, I think if Dak's in that game, he throws more interceptions because he puts himself into two dangerous situations, especially at the end of the games, and loses the game for them. And the Lions, after that horrible loss to New England before their bye week, maybe they come back rejuvenated. I think Cowboys get back on track. I think their defense will show up a little better, but Lions will probably be a little bit healthier. Should be close, though. Next, we have the Indianapolis Colts versus the Tennessee Titans in a game from a couple weeks ago where the Titans won, but they did not look good in the second half and almost blew that game. Colts found a way to lose it, though. Colts, I think, if they want to win, will depend on if Jonathan Taylor plays. Matt Ryan has been better of late. He's one of the top quarterbacks in terms of yards in the NFL. Titans have a sneaky good defense at times, and Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. Not so good in passing defense, so Colts will probably look to exploit it with Michael Pittman, who had an amazing game last week. Alec Pierce is coming along, and Deion Jackson had a great game last week. Still think if Jonathan Taylor plays, he'll get the lion's share of the carries. And in this game, I think Indy wins in a close one. Next we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Washington Commies. Again, after last week's debacle against the Jets, I have no idea how to feel about the Packers. Washington won, but Carson Wentz is probably out for 6 weeks now. So leaving Taylor Heineke, which may or may not, depending on who you are, be an upgrade or a downgrade from Carson Wentz. I still think Carson Wentz is just a bowl. It's about, or is an average quarterback. But Brian Robinson is going to look to continue what he did last week. Didn't run that great against a surprisingly stout Chicago defense, but he'll look to get better. The Packers, please use Aaron Jones more. Try and switch between A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones more. Aaron Rodgers will hope to get better communication with the rookie wide receivers. I think the Packers win close, but after the past 2 weeks, anything's possible. Next we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Carolina Panthers. Panthers are, I think, obviously one of the worst teams in the NFL. They're just so unwell run. They just traded Robbie Anderson after his spat with coaches. That was an amazing turnaround. Christian McCaffrey has been okay this year, I guess. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady screaming at his offensive line. Tampa Bay, I think is very average with that terrible offensive line. Hopefully they look to get back on track against the Panthers' terrible defense. I think Tampa Bay probably stretches out in this one. It gets a decent size win. I don't think it's too close. Maybe it is because it's a divisional factor, but I think the Panthers are just awful. They are just a terribly run organization, and they can't expect to get better until they have a new coach next year. So yeah, Bucs in a decent size win. Next we have the New York Giants versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Giants are probably the most surprising team in the league this year. Jags started out surprising, but have lost 4 straight. Jags are a favorite in this one, surprisingly. I think the Giants win this one, although it should probably be a good game. After a good start to the season, Trevor Lawrence has not been great the past couple weeks. Neither has James Robinson. I don't know what happened to the Jags. They look so promising early in the season, but it's just another one of those things that bad teams look good early on and then they fall back to where they normally should be. Giants, I think, are for real. That defense is they just play like dogs. Their offense isn't great, but they play like dogs, and Saquon Barkley plays to win. Or forgoes the easy touchdown and goes for the win instead against Baltimore. I think Giants win in a close one, but I don't think the Jags really stand a chance to win. Next we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens. In a game that is a toss-up in every way after Lamar Jackson totally lost in that game this week, and the Browns just looked awful against New England. I don't know, it's anybody's guess. Lamar Jackson looking to come back better than he did last week. Hopefully for his sake, Rashad Bateman plays because they're clearly missing him. Duvernay is a decent slot receiver, but he's being treated as a number 1 receiver when he is primarily a kick returner. The Browns, Chubb hasn't been so great the past couple weeks. Jacoby Brissett, not so good either. Just the Browns are just a big old mess. They probably don't get any better until maybe Deshaun Watson comes back, but he hasn't played for a year or so it's anybody's guess. Baltimore wins in this divisional matchup, but it could go either way. Next we have the New York Jets versus the Denver Broncos. So there's reports that Russell Wilson is suffering a moderately severe hamstring injury, which could keep him out, bringing in Brett Rippon at quarterback. The Jets have been another one of the surprising teams this year. Their defense just plays with passion. They're a really young defense with nothing to prove, or with something to prove. Zach Wilson only completed 10 passes last week, but really didn't need any more. Breece Hall is slowly getting better and better and better and taking more and more of the carries away from Michael Carter. I like him to continue doing so. The Broncos have a good defense, but that's about it. They should have won last week, but then they ran into each other and fumbled the ball and allowed the Chargers to win. I think the Jets win in a close one. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. Should be close. Next, we have the Houston Texans versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders coming off a bye. Davante Adams looks to play. Doesn't look like he's going to be disciplined for his assault charge. The Texans, I don't know what to think. They have great players on both sides of the ball, or good upcoming players. Damian Pierce looks to continue what he has been doing of late. Davis Mills looks to hopefully not throw more interceptions. The Raiders, I think the Raiders have the edge in this game simply because of Davante Adams, but honestly, it really could go either way. I don't think either team is particularly good. Both teams are probably some of the worst in the league. Josh Jacobs will probably look to have a big game. I think the Raiders probably win in a close one again. They have the home field advantage, so maybe that gives them a bit of an edge and coming off a bye week, but it's a big mystery what will happen. Next, we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the LA Chargers. Chargers not looking too great last week, and the Seahawks having a pretty big win against the Cardinals. Geno Smith didn't have as good of a week as people thought he would, but he was still good because they played the terrible Cardinals led by Kyler Murray. Justin Herbert didn't have the best game last week, but he did what he had to do to get the team the win, making field goals, although there's probably a lot of ref ball in that game. The Chargers, I think, will have a little bit more just because of their passing offense. Where the hell is Mike Williams? Who knows where he is? Hopefully, for their sake, Keenan Allen is back. Chargers will look to get up to an early lead. They need to get better at passing the ball and being more consistent. Seahawks have a decent chance to win, but I'll give it to the Chargers in a close one. Next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. Chiefs, I think, are going to win big in this one. 49ers have a decent defense, but they looked anything but good last week against the Falcons. Falcons beat them on just about every side of the ball, and it was really never close. The 49ers just look out of sorts and really showed. Chiefs coming off that loss against Buffalo. Patrick Mahomes throwing the interceptions at the end. Although they had a game for a while, their defense is legit, I think. Kelsey is good as ever. Running back, Hilaire is decent, I guess. Juju finally had himself a really good game. He'll probably look to continue. It is in San Francisco, so that might give San Francisco the edge, but I think Kansas City wins pretty big. I don't think it's going to be that close of a game. Next, we have the Steelers versus the Miami Dolphins in a Sunday night game where everybody thought would be a really big game going into the season. Looks like it might not be so. Tua looks to be back for the Dolphins after that horrifying injury that he had with the concussion. Steelers, I don't know who's going to start in this game. I don't know if Kenny Pickett will be able to play. It seems that lately, with the concussion protocol, you're going to see less and less players coming back the next week after suffering a concussion the week before. This is probably going to be Mitch Trubisky again, but he looked pretty good winning that game against Tampa Bay last week. Dolphins should get a boost with Tua if he's anywhere near what he was before the concussion. That offense will look to get off the ground again. Steelers' offense looked pretty decent last week against a battered Tampa Bay defense. I think Dolphins win in a close one, maybe by a touchdown or so, but Tua gives them the edge. Next, we have the Chicago Bears versus the New England Patriots. Patriots looking to be a surprising team on every level of the ball. Bailey Zappi looks to be a pretty good quarterback right now. It'll probably be a battle of the death, per se, between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi when Mac Jones is able to play again. Chicago Bears are just awful. Their offense is terrible. Their defense is middling to bad. Pats, I think, win pretty decidingly in this one. Ramondre Stevenson has looked like a true superstar running back. Their passing has been pretty good with Zappi. Zappi's been a pretty good passer. And Justin Fields just looks lost for the Bears. I don't think there's much hope for him in Chicago. I don't want to say he's a bust, but he's very trending towards that way. Yeah. I don't see the Bears winning this one. Although, with the parity the way it has been in the league this year, wouldn't be surprising at all if the Bears won the game. But, man, it's going to be a tough one for them to win. Patriots win by at least a touchdown, I think, and I don't think it's going to look very close. So there you go. There are my picks for the week. If you have any questions or you disagree with any of my opinions, hit me up in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe. Been getting a good amount of subscribers coming in lately. Most of the people that watch my videos still are not subscribers, so if you do like what I'm doing here, please subscribe, like my videos, comment, share it around, and all that stuff. But until next time, have a great day. Go Pack Go, and God bless.